Hello my friends and welcome back to another episode of Oxygen Not Included Let's Play. My name is Luma and today we are playing on the asteroid called Lunar Utopia. The plans for today are the following. I want to give the kitchen a makeover, much things will be automated and our food will be stored in a vacuum. In order to not be so reliant on the coal energy down here anymore, I'm going to expand our power shaft through this muddy mess here and build some solar panels on top of the asteroid. Also, as you can see already, I plan on making less jump cuts so you can see more of the base. The base will be expanded downwards. I'm going to place our coal energy system here, as well as some cooling systems. The steam geyser room here will be used for our refinement, and I found a very useful bug which you will see in this episode. So let's start right away and take in another duplicate or choose a blueprint. Our options are Bubbles, Hassan and Gosman. We have Bubbles, who is a buff kitchen menace, Hassan, who is skilled in 2 different skills, and Gosman is a buff, creative, athletic and medicine interested dupe, which sounds pretty amazing, so why not take her in? I already set up the priorities for Gosman. Gosman will be our tidying and delivering dupe for now. Gosman has a separate schedule and will get 1 skill point in carrying. And while we are here, why not give all the duplicants the skills they need for exosuit training. In the last episode I made a grave mistake and built the wrong germ sensor. Now I switched it out for the liquid pipe germ sensor and reloaded the game because every water source that we had in the game and our oxygen supply was contaminated by germs, which is kind of annoying and I don't like the look of that. The thing I want to do right now is expand the base downwards. I want to get rid of all this polluted water as well as the slime and reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that accumulated in our base down here. In case you were wondering what I built right here, I told you that I want to get rid of the carbon dioxide. So I'm going to break these tiles later. The carbon dioxide will flow down, the carbon skimmer will take care of that and convert the water that is fed to it to polluted water. The polluted water will get filtered by the water sieve and fed back as clean water. This is an endless cycle and we can get rid of a lot of carbon dioxide that way. But first I want to get rid of the polluted oxygen, the polluted water as well as the water that are dropped in there, and all of the slime. That was the sound for a new blueprint and we got another 8 Parkus. I don't know what to do with them right now, but I'm going to take them. But first we have to close off this tile so that our Parku will drop in our water tank. I built the tiles so we can take the Parku in. Hey guys, I totally forgot about Gosman. Gosman here will get a own bed in the new barrack that I'm going to build right here. The old mess hall will get ripped apart and 2 more tables will get built here. The water cooler will get relocated to, I guess, there. As you can see, I added the 2 mess tables and relocated the water cooler. Now we have a bigger great hall and Gosman has a place to sit. The room down here has been dug out and we can pump out the polluted water. Let's first check if there are any germs in it. No germs in the water, a lot of slime lung in the air. But I'm not going to do anything against the slime lung because it will dissipate itself after a while if there is clean oxygen, which we are going to put in here. So for the pipe layout, I will just take this pipe and feed it into our infinite storages. Therefore, I am going to deconstruct this tile as well as this bridge and use the pipe to feed it to the storage. Since we got so much Parku right now, I'm going to kill some of them off. Also, I'm going to change the food that they are getting from algae to mealwood seeds, which is much more efficient, I guess. Because I've read that they only need 1/3 of a mealwood seed compared to 140 kilograms of algae per Parku per cycle. So let's change that up. We have another care package. We got Stinky or Cole. Catalina's out because of her bottomless stomach, and Meep breathes too much of our oxygen. Stinky has 3 positive traits in Iron Gut, Green Thumb, and the increased decor morale bonus because he's an unpracticed artist and everything is pretty for him. So Stinky, welcome to the base. Stinky will get the same schedule as Ghostman. Here you can see the infinite storage working with different liquids. Down here you can see me preparing another pipe, so I can reroute the pipe that is coming from our steam geyser room, that it goes through the insulated tiles and either goes first to our electrolyzer's bomb setup or secondly to our infinite storage. Right now I'm going to break through the insulation tile and let all the carbon dioxide flow downward to our skimmer setup. The next thing I want to do to increase the oxygen saturation in the down parts of our base is, as you can see in the gas overlay, the oxygen will be pumped down. Here's an outlet and here's an outlet. Also, I placed a bridge right here. That means the oxygen first goes to all of these outlets on the upper parts in the base, and if they are saturated, it will go downward. Let's get rid of all this mess too, so can expand the power shaft upwards. We have to go around the supply here, but the rest can be deconstructed. I have to deconstruct the windows each on its own. In case you did not know that, each of these windows are made of glass. The glass is needed for our solar power, which is pretty handy, but they reduce the amount which you get from each panel, which is only 25 kilograms. Seriously, how? 3 duplicants managed to get themselves trapped at the same time. They just... you can't let them alone. Another care package, and I think we're going for the Pincher Pepper Seed. Basement has finally been cleaned out and now we can relocate our coal generators. You may have seen the insufficient oxygen generation tab pop up here on the left. That's because we have 10 duplicants now, but only produce enough oxygen for 8.8 duplicants. So it's time to switch on another one of our electrolyzers. The 2 electrolyzers will use up a lot of water, so it's time to connect the infinite storage to this system. Therefore, I'm going to hook up this pipe to a liquid bridge that is facing downward. I did build it that way so the pump from the water storage doesn't work all the time. I replaced our filtration system for the carbon dioxide here. We got even more skill points for our duplicants, so let's continue the journey to the exosuit training. The aluminum ore for the care package can come in handy, but it's only 100 kilograms. Sad, but still printed. The next task for the duplicants could be expanding the power shaft upwards, and then we can build our solar panels on top of an asteroid. Also, we have to go through this polluted mess with the slime lung and the polluted water, which I'm going to pump out and let it filter through our system and store it in the infinite storage. Because we had to activate another electrolyzer and 2 more pumps, our oxygen got a little bit hotter than it should be. As you can see here, 25 degrees and 53 degrees. Therefore, I'm going to place more temp shift plates made out of ice here in our water reserve, and I'm going to take the ice from these 4 spots here. Then this will fill up with melted ice, so we got very cold water, which will cool down our oxygen system once more, temporarily. At the same time, and while the duplicants are doing that, I'm building an exosuit forge so we can have our first atmosuit. I stopped the game because 1 deodorizer was clearly not enough, so I added 2 more and 1 more door. I'm going to deconstruct this manual airlock and place another one of the deodorizers right there. We can finally produce some atmosuits. Atmosuits will be used up if they are worn too often, so we have to repair them. Therefore, we're going to put the worn atmosuits to forever. They only need reed fiber to repair that, and we have a wild growing reed fiber up here, which is giving us free reed fiber every couple of cycles. Rust. Why not? Let's take a look at our improvised cooling solution. As you can see, the water is cold and the output oxygen is at 17 or 12 degrees Celsius, which is fine. I also rerouted our pipes so that every 2 pumps have 4 slots of cooling. The atmosuit has been finished and now we can place it in one of our setups, which I prepared right here. I have an atmosuit checkpoint as well as an atmosuit dock, and I hooked it up to our gas pipes. Let me explain the piping for the oxygen that is going into our atmosuit dock. Our electrolyzer setup produces a lot of oxygen. 1 kilogram goes into the base, because each duplicant will need 100 grams to survive, and we have 10 duplicants. The function of these two gas pumps is to first fill up our atmosuit dock. If that is already filled up, it goes and checks if here's not enough oxygen, and if there is enough oxygen, it will fill up the lower parts of our base and oxygenate it. We can deliver our suit now and build a smelting setup in the steam geyser room. We need a place to store the polluted ice and the ice that we dug up for our power shaft, because it will melt at some time and flood our base. That's why I'm placing some storage bin right here, because it's a very cold biome and I guess the ice won't melt for a long time here. Now we can set the storage bins to liquefiable and copy it over to the other bins. Liquefiable, ice, polluted ice, and now all the polluted ice and clean ice will be stored there. I'm going to set the priority a little bit higher so that they store that quickly. We've almost breached the surface of our asteroid. Therefore, I'm going to place more atmosuit docks, and I'm building one more atmosuit that the duplicants can research the atomic research stuff up here. Also, I'm going to build the solar panels if I have enough materials for that. The gas pipe for our atmosuit docks comes from down here, but I haven't connected it for the moment. I think I'm going to connect it to one of our outputs. If we are already down here, why not build our smelting setup? It will be a quick setup and nothing permanent, but for now I guess it will do the trick. Ooh, we have a case here of the sand is better than the duplicants. Sorry dupes. Some minor thing in between, I placed some atmosensors with automatic cables next to our gas outlets, because I'm really annoyed by all the red symbols here and I want to reduce the amount of red symbols as much as possible. Therefore you can see I placed the atmosensors all next to our gas outlet. The duplicants have finally built the kilns. Now we can produce some ceramic and some refined carbon. The ceramic will be used for our metal refinery, which I'm going to place here. Wow guys, we got some free plastic, that is so amazing. Our old Draco ranch has cooled down enough so that the mealwood is growing again, so we can relocate our Dracos from down here back up into their old stable. We finally have enough ceramic for our metal refinery. Now let's place it down and connect it up. We have to produce some more refined metal for the cables. To finish the research for the solar energy quicker, I'm going to start it right now, so we only have to finish the atomic research later. The metal refinery will use up a lot of power, so I'm going to hook it up to its own energy system. I guess I'm using some coal generators and a battery. Even more parkour! Now we can use our metal refinery, and I'm going to produce copper from copper ore forever until it's totally used up. I have a very easy setup where just one coal generator, which is not enough energy to power this machinery, but since I have 3 batteries, it should use up all the batteries until they're empty, then I just switch it back on. This thing won't work for the time, but that's okay. Hey guys, I have another reminder for you that material and its temperature is very important. I was wondering why it is so cold down here, but I have stored some dirt at minus 46 degrees Celsius here. And this is influencing our oxygen that is running through it. It is 21 degrees here, goes down to 17, 16, 15 degrees. And also our body bud seed couldn't grow because it was too cold for it. Since we finally produced enough refined metal, we can build the atomic collider and research the atomic stuff. You can see me aiming the red ball generator here at our atomic research station. If you did not know what that black liquid here is, it is liquefied carbon dioxide because it's minus 56 degrees. I skipped a little bit ahead and I built a living quarter for our researcher dupe Harold. Harold now has a latrine, a barracks, and a tiny mess hall. Now he can focus all his attention on the atomic research. He also only gets the finest assortments of food, like omelets, barbecue, and cooked fish. As you can see, we already finished renewable energy and we can finally build the solar panels and the steam turbine, so we can now focus our research on something else, like for example the glass forge. The new blueprint grants us an oxyfern seed. That's kind of interesting, so let's see what we can do with that. We need more glass for solar panels, but since we don't have the glass forge researched yet, we are just deconstructing some of the window tiles. Down here. In case you were wondering why I placed those tiles here, I was creating a gas lock, so in case the hydrogen would flow out, it would accumulate in the upper part of the gas lock, and the oxygen and the heavier carbon dioxide would accumulate in the lower parts. At the moment I'm placing a fire pole in our power shaft so the duplicants get faster from the top to the bottom. It is finally time to build the solar panels, but we can only afford one solar panel. As you can see here, we have 375 glass, but we need 400 for 2 solar panels. So more deconstruction. In case you have never been to the outside of the asteroid, you can see Bird is all red in the face. That's because he has a sunburn. Sunburn gives stress plus 20% per cycle, and it lasts for almost 2 cycles. Just keep that in mind. The research for the superheating has just been completed, so now we have access to the glass forge and we can increase the number of our solar panels all the way to here. For the next research I will focus on transit tubes. There was a sound for new printable, and we got a choice between oxyfern and rust. Both is interesting, but I'm thinking of taking more oxyfern seeds, because you never know when you need them. One solar panel is already up and running, so we can deconstruct our manual generator setup, which has been our backup system for the moment. We can also deconstruct the smart battery that is not needed anymore. Also, I'm going to set different values to our smart battery down here so that the coal generators don't turn on until the battery is very low on power. Because on the same grid now are our jumbo batteries on top of the base. So I'm going to set this to, let's say, 50 and 30. 50 and 30. Now we can build the glass forge so we can add to our solar panels and get more power, and with more power that we can use, we can build our thermo aquatuner setup. The research has already been completed, so I think we're going for the home luxuries, I guess. I'm going to produce some more glass for our solar panels. As you can see, I'm just going to drop the hot glass on this cold igneous rock and it will solidify and we can use it later. Another draglet, why not? I've just built 2 more solar panels, so the energy accumulation should go much faster now. I guess we could research for the radiation protection. I don't know when we need it, but it could come in handy. Now it's time for the kitchen setup. So you can follow me better. I'm going to rip out everything that isn't needed right now, and then we are going to build a more automated and slightly more elaborate version of the same kitchen. Here we are with a cleaned up room. The first thing I'm going to do is build an egg collector, and the eggs will get shipped down and land in a water spot where the critter will drown. We got a pop-up for insufficient oxygen generation, so let's take a look. These are deactivated as they should be. And I switched one of our electrolyzers off to save on some energy because we had already 500 kilograms of oxygen accumulated in here. And at the moment we have 77 kilograms, so it should still be enough. Where's the problem? There's no problem. Our base is highly oxygenated. It's just the statistic that is off. The egg transport system is almost finished. The sweepers will detect some eggs, put them in the conveyor loader. I set it to critter eggs, except for the fish eggs, so all the eggs will get transported via the conveyor down to the drop chute, and then they will hatch eventually from the eggs, die, and the meat can get used for barbecue. The eggs no longer get used for omelets because the duplicants should not be able to reach that spot, but our auto sweepers can reach it, as you can see here. The next thing is the incubators. I want to place the incubators on these spots because a single autosweeper can reach all 4 of them. Also, the autosweeper has to be able to reach this spot. That's why I'm placing this right here. The automation for the incubators will be the following. First, they activate at a specific time of the day, so we need the cycle sensors for each single one of them. The next thing with an AND gate connected will be we check how much critters are in our stables. If there are not enough critters, this should activate at the specific time of the day. More sand in between. Because our duplicants are so horrendously slow when they build, I'm going to give each one of them building. This is so annoying. Oh, Mima. Mima is not very high on moral. We need to check that out later. The incubators have been built, so first we hook it up to our electronic grid. And then it is time for the settings. We want the cycle sensors to be at 10% at an active time of 10. And then 10%, 20, and so on. The critter sensor will be set to below 8. So every time there are less than 8 critters, this will send a green signal. If there's a green signal and a green signal from the cycle, this incubator will turn on. Now we just have to put in the right eggs. We want 2 for the stone hedges and 1 for the Dracos and the glossy Dracos. I'm just breeding the Dracos so we can get more glossy Dracos. So when I have enough glossy Draco eggs, I'm getting rid of them totally. So I'm going to set the first one to Dracos, glossy Dracos, and stone hedges. We only have 1 stone hatchling egg, but I can set the other ones to stone hatchling continuously too. Next 2 things I want to place are an egg cracker. Maybe we need that in the future. And an electric grill right here. After that, I'm going to make a vacuum storage for our food because we already lost a couple thousands of calories when transporting it from here to our down storage. So I'm going to place 2 tiles here, and if I deconstruct them again, it will be a vacuum. Now we have our vacuum food storage, and I'm going to place one of these, I don't know how they're called, the weight plates here, so we can automate the electric grill that if we have enough food or enough kilograms of food stored here, this will turn off. As you have seen, I didn't do the priorities right, so they did not build that spot first, and now we have oxygen in there again. So we have to build 2 more sensor tiles and deconstruct them again. Annoying. There we have our vacuum storage. I'm going to remove the sensor so it doesn't influence our weight plate. And now we can construct another one of these conveyor chutes and drop our food in it via one of these conveyor loaders. I think I'm going to move the conveyor loader to right here. Now we can set the conveyor loader to edible and cooking ingredients if we want the cooking ingredients stored there too, but I think yes. And then allow the manual use. The duplicants are able to reach that spot, so they will transport the food there and back, but that doesn't matter right now as long as our food gets stored, and we can switch it off if everything is stored in this spot. All of our food has been stored in the vacuum. Now we can deactivate the manual use and the sweep only commands. At the moment we have around 82 kilograms of food, so we can set the electric grill to like 120 kilogram. And after that it will stop being able to let duplicants grill stuff. This needs to be below 120 kilogram. You can see our food being deep frozen and in a sterile atmosphere, even though there is no atmosphere. So this is the new way of storing food until they patch it out again. The very last thing that is missing from the kitchen is the critter drop-off, because we have to build a critter drop-off here with a lower priority like 5 than here, so that if a hatchling hatches, it automatically gets wrangled up and put in the respective farm. We don't have any space which is 3 tiles high, and we need this to be our great hall, which it is not. No industrial machinery. Okay, I understand. I just got 2 birds with 1 stone. I figured out the conveyor loader was messing with our room layout setup. Now it is a great hall again because the conveyor loader counts as industrial machinery and cannot be in a great hall. If you place it between the 2 doors, this is a single room and doesn't count to this room anymore. Because I deleted the conveyor loader here, we got space for the critter drop-off, and the critter drop-off set to 0 critters and auto-wrangled surplus. Every critter that hatches here will get automatically wrangled and put in the respective farm because the priority here is lower than the priority set on the critter drop-offs in the farms. Oh yeah, right, I wanted to show you the bug I was talking about. First you go to your metal refinery. Then you go to the pipe, which probably is already breaking or has been broken. You go to the pipe, disable the auto repair, and you can still use the metal refinery as long as you pump in new liquid. The water will not be wasted, but it will be stored at over 100 degrees Celsius, which is super handy if you're producing steel and don't want to deal with the hot steam right now. You can just put it off to the future. So now we have a, well, let's say infinite water over 100 degrees storage until we deconstruct the building, and then it turns instantly to water bottles, and the water bottles will instantly turn into steam. Let me show you this with some steel, because steel adds the most heat. You can see 117 kilojoules are added. And we have water with 115 degrees Celsius in our metal refinery. I will let him produce some more steel, then I'm saving the game and I'll show you what happens if you deconstruct this. Okay, we already got some steam in here. I've waited for the steam geyser to stop. As you can see here, everything is oxygen except for this tiny pocket. And now, if I deconstruct this metal refinery, here you can see multiple bottles of water dropped, and the ones that were over 100 degrees instantly turned into steam. And now we got a room that is highly pressured with a lot of steam. So if you have a huge liquid reservoir and don't want to deal with the heat of the output liquid from the metal refinery, you can just pump in new liquid all the time and think of a solution later. So guys, that's all for today. Let's end it with a little blueprint. Gold amalgam it is. And no recap today. I'm thinking of moving the recap to the beginning of the next episode. Love you guys, and Luma out.